Hello everyone. Let us discuss what are the different types of overcurrent relays. We have mainly we have four types. One is instantaneous overcurrent relays, definite time overcurrent relays, inverse time overcurrent relays, and with the help of directional feature, we have directional overcurrent relays. Directional overcurrent relays. Now, let us analyze each one in detail. So the first one is instantaneous overcurrent relay. That means also called as definite current relay. The first one is instantaneous overcurrent relay or a definite current relay. So in case of instantaneous overcurrent relay, for example, if the current in the relay reaches to some value, pickup value, when the current is reaches to pickup value, the relay will sense send signal to circuit breaker instantaneously. So that's what we call it as instantaneous relay. So definite current relay operates instantaneously when the current reaches a predetermined value. When the current reaches a predetermined value. Right. Let us see the key features of instantaneous relays. Operation of, in case of definite time, when the current is exceeds to pickup value, the instantaneous relay will be operates without any time delay. Without any time delay. It is purely depends on the current magnet. So whatever it may be the current which is above the pickup value, the operating time is constant only, right? The operating time is constant and there is no intentional time delay we are providing. There is no intentional time delay we are providing in case of instantaneous relay. And then how the coordination will be achieved? What is coordination will be discussed in distance relays clearly, but with the help of this instantaneous relay, how the coordination between relays can be achieved. Let us see here. Coordination of definite current relays is based on the fact that the fault current varies with the position of fault because the difference in the impedance between the fault and source. For example, I am taking one source here, generator bus, and we have a long transmission line. For example, there is a line to ground fault occurs at one place. Now, for protection purpose, we have placed relays or circuit breaker equipment at different locations of transmission line as well as generating station, right? That means, let me call it as this is location 1, R1 relay 1. This is location 2, R2. And this is location 3, R3. So because of this fault, the current which is drawn from source will be maximum, right? And the transmission line has some impedance. Now, with this impedance, the current which is sensed at relay 1 will not be equal to the current which is sensed at relay 3. Because in transmission lines, we have some leakage currents as well, right? If you observe the transmission, it is transmission line diagram. It is RLCZ. This is C. This is G. So this is the line diagram of a practical transmission line. RL is nothing but resistance and inductance of transmission wire, and C capacitance of transmission wire, and G is nothing but line to ground conductance, that means leakage currents, right? So because of this leakage currents, the amount of current which is flown in a transmission line will not constant. That's why the amount of current at relay 1 will be always higher than the current which is sensed at relay 3 because of transmission line impedances. So that concept only we will take here for coordination. That because of that concept only we are just coordinating the relays, right? Now I'm repeating, coordination of definite current relays is based on the fact that the fault current varies with the position of fault, because the difference in the impedance between fault and source. For example, if the fault occurs here, or in second case, if the fault occurs here, if the fault occurs here, what happens? Because of this fault, the current which is sensed at R1 is very very high compared to these two, right? So such that we will attain coordinations, and the relay located furthest from the source operating for a low current value, the operating currents are progressively increasing for the other relays when the moving towards the source, right? So hence with this impedance we will achieve coordination between relays. Now it is operates as the instantaneous relay. It is operates in 0.1 second or less than 0.1 seconds. So the application where it is used, it is used for outgoing feeders. It is used for protect outgoing feeders. That is the application of instantaneous relay. Now definite time over current relay. The second one is definite time over current relay. In case of definite time over current, in case of instantaneous relay, what we have seen, whenever the current is greater than the pickup value, some predetermined value, so the relay will be sensed the current instantaneously gives tripping signal to circuit breaker. But here the second case, definite time over current relay, or we can call it as definite time lag over current relays. In this case we will provide some time delay intentionally. How this time delay we have discussed in previous slides. By adjusting the initial position of moving contact, we can adjust the time delay, right? So by adjusting the time delay we can achieve time lag. In this type, two conditions must be satisfied for operation. That is, current must exceeds the setting, exceeds the predetermined value, and the fault must be continuous at least a time equal to time setting of relay. For example, let us take a previous case only. So induction disc, here we have fixed contacts, and we have a spindle which is connected to a moving contact. Whenever the current reaches the pickup value, the disc will rotates. That is the condition number 1. condition number 1, that is current must exceeds the setting value. Now the disk is start rotating. The disk is start rotating. At this position I have placed the moving contact by taking this amount of time delay, that is let it be theta, sum is around 270 degrees or well 270 degrees, right. So the disk has to start from here and reaches here after some time. Meanwhile if the fault current is become zero, this, because of dual springs, which is used for controlling, we will which is used for controlling, the disk will comes back. That's why the second condition, and the second condition is the current must be continuous at least a time equal to time setting of relay, right. So this is the definite time overlag relay. So in this case two conditions has to be achieved. One is current must exceeds the setting value, and the second one is this current has been continuous at least a time equal to setting of relay, right. Now let us take some key points here. Motor and relays may contain more than one stage of protection. At each stage includes each own current and time settings. At each stage of we have seen at different levels, at different locations, the relay has to be placed. Based on the locations, the current and time setting will be differs, right. For operation of definite time over current relay, operating time is to be constant. And the second key point is its operation is independent of the magnitude of current which is above pickup value. It should be greater than pickup value. Okay, so after pickup value, whatever may be the magnitude is, that is no matters, and it has pickup and time dial settings. We have seen it has pickup setting and time dial setting, and desired time delay can be attained with definite time relay, and it is easy to coordinate by having time delays. And the last one is constant tripping time is independent on feed variation and fault location. It is independent on fault location. Let us see the drawbacks of this definite time lag relay. The continuity of supply cannot be maintained up to some period, right. So for example, in case of lightning stroke occurs, it is the heavy disturbance. It can lead to damage the insulation of some electrical equipment, but it is not a continuous one, right. It is just operated within less time. To maintain the current up to some time, it is not possible. So that is one drawback. And the second one is time lag is provided, which is not desirable in case of short circuit conditions. In case of short circuit conditions also, time lag is not a good thing, and it is difficult to coordinate and requires changes with addition of loads. For example, the load in the power system has changed, then it causes for change in the current. Because of this current change, this will not support. The current change is not supported by definite time lag relay, right. And it is not suitable for long distance transmission where rapid fault clearance is necessary for stability. For stability purpose, the fault has to be cleared within very fraction of seconds or very less time to maintain stability. to avoid loss of synchronism. By using this relay, there is no provision of getting instantaneous results or instantaneous detection. That's why it is not used for long distance transmission lines. And relay has difficulties in distinguishing between fault currents at one point or another when the fault is independence between 3 points or small. Thus, poor discrimination occurs. Now, let us see the applications of this definite time overcurrent relay. It is used for backup protection. Backup protection. What is backup protection indicates? For example, it is generator bus. Let it be generator bus. And here we have, this is transmission line. So this is the relay 1. Let it be relay 1. And this will be the relay 2. Let a fault occurs here. Let the fault occurs here. The fault current will be sensed by R1, relay 1, and open circuit the circuit breaker which is used here. It has to open circuit the circuit breaker. For example, due to some conditions, the relay or circuit breaker is locked down. Due to some conditions, the relay which is used here or the circuit breaker is in locked condition. What happens? We need to have a additional protection here. It may maloperates. Okay, so we are using secondary relay as a backup protection. Now, even though if the relay 1 is fails, but if relay 2 will be sense the fault and opens gives tripping signal to circuit breaker, and the circuit breaker will be open circuited. Hence, the system will be protected. That is the necessity of backup protection. So, the definite time lag relay will be used for backup protection of distance relay of transmission line with some time delay, and backup protection to differential relay of power transformer with time delay, and main protection to outgoing feeders and bus couplers with adjustable time delay settings. Because of these adjustable time delay settings, we will use in these 3 conditions. Now, and the last one is inverse time overcurrent relay. In case of inverse time overcurrent relay, also call it as IDMT time relay, IDMT type relay, inverse definite time minimum time relay. In this type of relays, operating time is inversely changed with current. So high current will operate over current relay faster than lower ones. For example, if the value of fault current increases, the relay has to operate it within very less time compared to the operating time at lower currents, right? So that is the advantage here, IDMT type relays. The saturation principle will be used in this case. That will be discussed later. So by attaining saturation in primary core, this inverse time lag will be attained. Now, there are different types. Again, in case of IDMT only, we have standard inverse or very inverse and extremely inverse. If you have seen this graph, which is x-axis, we have operating time for operation, and the y-axis we have current, that operating current, or we can call it as current setting as well. Now we will get inverse time characteristics with IDMT relay. Now, for example, this is for one this is for some time delay. If I want to change the time delay, that means time multiplier setting only na. So for example, this is for TMS of 1. This is for TMS of 1. For example, if I want to provide some time delay, this is 0 as we don't have any time delay. Or if I want to provide from some time delay, so it will be shifts like this. So as TMS is increased, the curve will be shifts upwards. Now by adjusting this is plug setting value, right? Plug setting multiplier, or also call it as pickup current or current setting limit, whatever maybe we can say. Ultimately the current is the x-axis quantity and the operating time will be the y-axis quantity. For example, if I had operate this relay at some current I, what is the time required for this? T1 I1. What is the time required to operate the relay at current I1 is T1. Now, is this the time to operate the relay in practical? No, because this is the time with some delay. That is, we have some time multiplier setting as well. So we will discuss these calculations little later. Now I just want to conclude this. So we have seen the different time multiplier settings, we have different types of curves, right? So the calculation will be discussed in little later. Now let us discuss the key points in IDMT type relays. The operating time of an overcurrent relay can be moved up. We have seen by adjusting the time dial setting. Setting, right? The lowest time dial setting is the fastest operating time and is generally 0.5, and is the slowest is 10. The fastest is 0.5 and the slowest is 10, and operates when current exceeds its pickup value. It will operate when current exceeds pickup value, and operating time depends on the magnitude of current. In case of instantaneous and definite time lag relays, the relay time will not depends on magnitude of current, but in case of IDMT type relays, the relay operating time will be depends on magnitude of current, and it gives inverse time current characteristics at lower values of fault current and definite time characteristics at higher values of fault current. An inverse characteristics is obtained if the value of plug setting multiplier is below 10, for values between 10 and 20 as well. And it is widely used the protection of distribution lines. The IDMT type relays is mainly used for protection of distribution time relays. Again, this IDMT type relays is classified again as, one is standard inverse type, and the second one is very inverse type IDMT type relays, and the third one is extremely inverse. If you observe the graph, for example, this is, for example, in definite time lag relay, in x-axis we have time and y-axis we have current. With definite time lag relay, so at some value of time, this is definite time lag relay. At some value of delay time, it will operate. definite time lag relay. Previously we have seen. Now in case of IDMT type relays, the first one is standard inverse. The standard inverse, previously only we have seen, it is like a curve. It is depends on the current. As the fault current is increases, the operating time will get reduces. And the second one is very inverse. That means it is the inverseness is very high compared to standard inverse. So that is the green one. And the last one is extremely inverse. Standard inverse, very inverse, as well as extremely inverse. So these are the three types of IDMT type relays. And in next we have directional overcurrent relay. So the direction, what is the basic principle of directional overcurrent relay and what are the applications of directional overcurrent relay will be discussed later in next sessions. Right. Thank you.